All right, this is Sylvie, and this is her week 1 recap. Starting off this week, we started, oh, good girl, you got your toy. We started off with some toy play. Wow, good girl. Yeah. So just warming her up for the training session. Good girl. Oh my gosh, you love it. So the toy that I'm using right now is what's called a flirt pole. Very, very fun toy to have, especially for these little dogs. That way you don't always have to be playing necessarily on the ground with them. This toy allows me to stay standing. I'm pretty disengaged, meaning that my hands are not super involved with the toy. While she's chewing and pulling on this toy, I might pull just slightly in the opposite direction. Oh, good girl, you sound so tough. Really encouraging her to tug and chew at this toy. Once she lets go, I might flirt with it a little bit more. You're crazy, good girl. So I am gonna let her win. Good, oh, you almost had it. There you go, good job. So I'm gonna dance the toy back and forth a few times, and then once she gets it, I'll just do some gentle tugs. Now I don't want to like pull her across the floor at all, but I just want to make sure that I have some opposite pressure. Good girl. And then as soon as she lets go of the toy this time, we will get started on our training. Yeah, thank you. All right, good girl. Hi, baby. So the first thing we needed to introduce to the puppies this week was what's called our reward marker. Good girl. So the reward marker that I'm using is a clicker. Right now I'm doing what's called charging my clicker. I'm simply clicking and then handing her a piece of food. Now, as you can tell, she's pretty excited. She's amped about training. So I'm gonna try to not capture any of the negative behaviors. So if she's jumping up or chewing on something she shouldn't, I'm not going to click and charge my clicker at that moment. I'm going to wait for her to be a little bit calmer. Good girl. Yeah, good job. So the way we charge is I click and I hand a piece of food. Click, hand a piece of food. Now this week, because the charger was new to her, I did charge it a bunch of times versus going forward. We're not going to do that as much. Good girl. Yeah, good job. Good job. So the point of the clicker, point of the reward marker, is going to be to capture the moment in time that our puppies offer us whatever behavior we ask for. Okay. So sit, for example, once her butt is on the ground and those front 2 paws are on the ground, that's the picture for a sit. So that is what we want to click, and that is what we will feed. Your click is going to be a promise. So it's a promise that food is going to follow. Anytime you click, even if it's accidental, I would make sure to reinforce that with a piece of food. Good girl. All right, the next thing I want to work on is going to be following a food lure. Good job, baby. So the way that we typically do that, I'm going to have the food in the palm of my hand, and then I want to cover that food with my thumb. This way I can move my hand whichever way, and I won't accidentally drop it, and she can continue to easily follow. Let's back that up just a smidge. Good girl. All right, so reconnect her with the food, showing her that I have food in my hand, she's attached. Then I'll take a few steps. Good girl. And again, attach her to that food. Good girl. Hey, baby. Yeah. Good girl. All right. Sylvie. Good. So practicing that paired with her name as well. So teaching her to follow the food and then pair it with her name. Sylvie. Good girl. All right. The other thing that we need to introduce to her is what's going to be called our release word. For that, I'm using okay. So I'm going to show her that I have food. Okay. And then toss the food off to the side. Same thing with my other hand. Okay. Good. So a lot of the behaviors we're going to work on, we want to build some duration with it. And we need to teach her when it's appropriate to leave those positions. So for that, we're going to use the word okay. When I'm charging my release word, I don't have to use my clicker for that. Okay. Good girl. And when she's this little, she doesn't know how to chase the cookie across the room yet, so I'm not tossing it too far. Okay. Good girl. All right, so we've already practiced a few different behaviors. I'm going to go back into playing with our toy to get a little break. Good girl. It's important for puppies of this age to break up training with some play. So when she gets home, you guys don't have to go through the behaviors as rapidly as we do with training. I would pick maybe 2-3 different behaviors, cover those 2 or 3, and then take a play break and come back to training maybe later in the day. Good girl. Yeah, is that a good toy? Is that a good toy? So same as earlier. Oh, good girl. As soon as she lets go, that's when I will take the win and I'll take the toy. All right, the next thing that we're going to work on is going to be our hand target. Oh, so same thing as following that food lure. I'm going to present the food the same way, get her attached. The difference though is I'm going to take my hand away. Touch. Good. The goal of this is that when I pull my hand away, she's going to continue to follow. And as soon as I feel her nose, that's what I want to click and feed. Touch. Good girl. Notice how I'm practicing with both of my hands. Important that we practice with both. Otherwise, she may start to only want to target one hand over the other. Touch. Good girl. One more. Babies, that's not food. That's not food. Yeah. Touch. Good job, love. Purpose of the hand target. I like to use it a lot when maybe I'm out in public. She's super excited about something that's happening over here. I need to get her attention. I'm going to ask for a few hand targets to get her focused back on me. And then once she's back focused on me, we'll continue doing whatever we're doing, continue on our walk, whatever it might be. Good girl. Okay. Ready? Sit. Good. So with her sit, like I said, the picture is going to be that her butt is on the ground and that her front 2 paws are also on the ground. She's so excited. So we might have to work through that bounciness in the beginning where she's pawing up at your hand. Just wait her out. As soon as those paws are on the ground, that's when you will click. If the paw happens to come back up, I would just get her back in position. Sit. Good girl. Yeah. Very good girl. Okay. So the way that we initially teach a sit, the food is going to start at nose level. And then I'm going to come up and back. Sit. Good girl. Sit. Good job, baby. Yeah. That's a good job. As we continue to work on this over the next few weeks, we will start building a duration in this position. This week, the behavior is brand new, so we're just capturing the moment of the sit. But as we continue, we'll work on her staying in that sit until I use that release word. What a good girl. All right, again, let's take a little play break. Good job, love. Whoa, my gosh, it went so far. Yeah, you got it. You got it. Ooh. One more time. Yeah, good girl. Oh, do you love it? Yeah. Good job, baby. Oof. You're stuck on your paw. You're stuck on your paw. Good girl. Oh my gosh, so tough. Yeah, so tough. Just waiting for her to drop it and then we'll continue. The next thing that we worked on this week was our mat. So the mat we're going to use as our stationary behavior. This is a really, really good tool to have. I especially like to use my mat when I'm cooking in the kitchen. I'll have my dogs stationed on their mat so that I can cook and they're not trying to get up with whatever I'm doing. Unloading the dishwasher. Go to your mat. Good. I also might utilize this one when I'm having company over. I'll have my dog stationed on their mat so that my company can enter. Okay. Step one to this behavior, I'm going to throw the mat down. I'm going to encourage her to come over. As soon as she has 4 paws on, that's what I'm clicking and feeding. And then I'm going to drop the food right onto the mat, come in with a follow-up cookie, maybe one more follow-up cookie, and then I'm going to release her and move my mat. Good girl. All right, you go to your mat. Good job. Sliding into the down. I love it. Good job. Okay. Yeah, go get it. Look right here. Good girl. We'll move that maybe one more time. Spinny McGee right now. Go to your mat. Very good girl. So follow-up cookie for staying on the mat. Okay. Good job. Now that was really fast. When you guys are practicing this behavior at home, you could definitely slow it down. This might be one behavior that I work on alone for 10 to 15 minutes. Really practicing moving the mat around the space that you have. Step one is really building the drive for the dog to want to go into this mat, building that foundation where when she's on this mat, she knows magical cookies are going to fall from the sky as long as she stays there. Good girl, baby. All right. Come here, lovey. Up. The next thing I'm going to do is get her dressed in her harness. So we have a step-in harness that's a Velcro and a latch. Once she has this on, I'll set her down. Good girl. This week with the harness, just getting her comfortable in her gear. Okay. Sylvie. Good girl. So I might play the flying cookie game where I toss that release cookie, and as soon as she's done eating, I'll call her name. Okay. Sylvie. Good. And then as soon as she turns, okay, that's the moment I'm clicking. You came back right away. Okay. Sylvie. Good girl. The other thing I could do while she's wearing her harness is have her follow that food lure again. Good. So really getting her used to just walking with something on and not carrying. Good job, babe. All right, and then when it's time to get the harness off, up, I want to be ready with some food because the Velcro itself can be a little startling. So after I rip the Velcro, I'm going to set her down, let her walk out of the harness, and she can eat those snacks. Good job. All right, lovey. One more thing to do. Good girl, babes. No, I know you're rolling over. So the final thing that we worked on this week was our handling exercises. So handling for her is going to be super important for the future when she goes to the vet. Yes. Also when she goes to the groomer. So as a puppy, they typically go to the vet every 3 to 4 weeks. Yes. And then once they're finished with their puppy series, they then go yearly. Yes. Good girl. Grooming for her, yes, is likely going to be every 6 to 8 weeks. I really, really encourage you guys that once you get her home, make sure to make an appointment with your groomer. The sooner she gets in, the better for the training aspect. So getting her used to being in that grooming environment, getting her used to being handled, yes, by the groomer, the way the groomer needs to handle her, yes. Typically that first groom is just going to be getting them used to the salon, getting them used to the groomer, bathing them, yes, good girl, the sounds, yes, good job. So everything I just worked through with her. When it comes to handling, one hand is going to have some snacks. I want her to be attached to that food before I start handling. Once she's licking, chewing, loving it, then I might start my touch. The first thing I did was some baby restraint, yes. So a gentle hand under her belly. From there, I went into lifting her tail, yes. Lifting her tail is good prep for the future vet when they have to take her temperature, the future groomer when they have to clean up back there. Good girl. I looked in both of her ears, yes. And then I also lifted her lips so I could look in her mouth. Hi, baby, I know. Come here. Yes. Good job. Ready? Okay. The final thing I worked on was handling all of her paws. So notice I'm using a yes versus a click. That yes is my verbal reward marker that I tend to use when I'm doing my handling. It's a lot to do a clicker plus the touch plus the feeding. So I tend to lean towards a verbal reward marker when I'm doing my handling exercises. Each yes is a cookie, similar to that clicker, and each body part is its own mark and cookie. So I'm not just gonna rush through the whole body for one piece of food. While she's so little and so young, I want her to learn that it's okay to be handled this way, and I'm gonna get some good snacks. Good girl, baby. So that's it for Sylvie's week 1 recap. We'll see you next week.